Ira Moe Berg was one of the most interesting characters in history of any kind, baseball included. What are your recollections of being around him and the kind of person that he was?
When I got to New York in 1967, a lot of the Moe Berg always came to the Shea Stadium for the Mets games and Yankee Stadium. There were free meals, and so Moe would partake of the free meals. Now you have to pay in the press rooms, but at that time you didn't. And a lot of the sports writers didn't know the history of Moe Berg, a Jewish guy and if they knew the history, they weren't that interested in him, just seeing him as an old ball player. But I knew about him, and I was interested in him. And so I would make it a point during the game, in the press box, he was always in the press box, I would sit next to him, and we would chat. And he would tell me stories. He liked telling stories. And one of my favorite stories with him was he was from Princeton, and the saying was that he was a marginal baseball player, but he had a 15-year career, and the saying was that he was a linguist, and he majored in languages, and the saying was that he knew 10 languages, but he couldn't hit in any of them. So being Princeton, and then Einstein was at Princeton in the advanced physics and mathematics that he ran. And Moe Berg wanted to meet Einstein. And so it was arranged. So Moe Berg went to Einstein's home in Princeton, New Jersey. And he told me, he said that we had tea in the European style in glasses, tea with glasses, and like little mugs. And then he said the professor played the violin for me. And then at some point, Einstein said to Moe, "If you teach me baseball, I will teach you the theory of relativity." And Moe said, Einstein thought about that for a moment, and he said, "We better forget about that, because you would learn the theory of relativity faster than I would learn baseball."
What was he? You said he told stories, but did he ever tell stories about what he did in the wars and his?
He was with the in Second World War. He was the OSS, which was a forerunner of the CIA. But he liked to be or have a pretense of secretness. So if you would ask him, well, I mean, you were supposed to kill Heisenberg, the atomic scientist, if he knew, if Germany was developing the atomic bomb, and you went to Switzerland, and is it true that you really were going to shoot him if the Germans were, and he was in charge of getting the atomic bomb? He would always go, he wouldn't want to talk about it. And you'd ask him, "What are you doing these days? What are you doing for a living?" He got a law degree while he was still a catcher with the White Sox. He got a law degree from Columbia, and he wouldn't talk about what he's doing. Everything, this all secretive. And he lived with his sister in New Jersey, and no one knew how he earned a living.
How did he just appear? Was he because he seemed, you heard the different stories. I mean, was he he was all.
He always wore a black suit and a black tie and black shoes and a white shirt. He always was clean looking and pressed, and he was neat. He looked neat. A woman who knew him years earlier has said he was a very good dancer.
So he's a memorable character.
He was a memorable character, and the thing that hooked our friendship. One day, and he came and he was sitting and he was doing the Times of London crossword puzzle, the literary supplement. And so I sat down next to him, and we talked a little bit, but he was doing the crossword puzzle, and then almost to himself he said, 6 letters, the Greek name for the Roman god Mercury. About 10 or 12 years earlier, in college, Miami of Ohio, I had taken a course in biblical and mythological backgrounds and literature. We had to memorize some of those names. So I said to him, Hermes, Hermes. He said, Hermes, yes. From that point forward, Moe and I were good friends.
Oh, that's great. That's great.